Most counterfeit money is garbage, bad paper, blurry printing, easily caught. Frank Bourassa decided to do it properly. Working out of a warehouse in Quebec, he spent years perfecting fake American $20 bills so good they fooled detection pens, cashiers, and even banks. He printed an estimated $250 million in fake currency, making him one of the most prolific counterfeiters in history. And when he was finally caught, he cut a deal so astonishing he walked away after just 6 weeks in jail. This is the story of Frank Bourassa. Frank Bourassa was a Canadian with a background in petty crime and a sharp, entrepreneurial mind pointed in the wrong direction. He looked at counterfeiting and saw that almost everyone did it badly. They cut corners on the paper, the ink, the security features, and got caught fast. Bourassa's idea was simple: treat it like a serious manufacturing operation, and solve every technical problem properly. He set his sights on the US $20 bill, high enough value to be worth the effort, common enough that it wouldn't attract the scrutiny 100 might, and used so casually that no one examines it 20 closely. The hardest part of counterfeiting good money isn't the printing. It's the paper. Real US currency isn't printed on ordinary paper, it's a specific cotton and linen blend with security features woven in. Ordinary counterfeiters can't get it. Bourassa, through persistence and misdirection, managed to source paper with the right composition from a supplier overseas, reportedly by posing as a legitimate printer of some other product and having the security features and watermarks built in. He acquired the correct type of printing press. He sourced color-shifting ink that mimicked the genuine bill's anti-counterfeiting feature. He replicated the security strip and the watermark. The result was a fake 20 so convincing it passed the counterfeit detection pens used by retailers, fooled ordinary handling, and in many cases passed at banks. He printed and printed. By his own account and investigators' estimates, he produced around $250 million in fake 20s in almost incomprehensible volume. And that volume became his core problem. Making the money turned out to be easier than getting rid of it. You can't just walk $250 million in counterfeit bills into the economy. You have to distribute it, sell it in bulk to criminal networks at a fraction of its face value, who then filter it into circulation. And the moment you start moving large quantities and dealing with the kind of people who buy bulk counterfeit cash, you expose yourself. Fake bills bearing Bourassa's telltale quality began surfacing. Law enforcement in Canada and the U.S. Secret Service, which is responsible for protecting American currency, took notice and began investigating. An undercover operation closed in. Bourassa was arrested, and police seized a large quantity of the remaining counterfeit notes, though by then, a significant amount had already entered circulation and was never accounted for. Then came the twist that makes this case so remarkable. Bourassa still had millions in undistributed fake bills hidden away. He used them as leverage. He negotiated a deal: he would hand over the remaining stockpile of counterfeit currency, removing it from circulation, in exchange for a dramatically reduced sentence. The deal went through. For producing $250 million in counterfeit money, Frank Bourassa served about 6 weeks in jail and paid a relatively modest fine. And in the final, almost satirical twist, after his release, Bourassa reportedly positioned himself as a consultant, offering his expertise on, of all things, anti-counterfeiting and security. The man who beat the system became a paid advisor on how to stop people like him. The Frank Bourassa story flips the usual lesson of these cases. Most cons fail because the product is fake and eventually someone checks. Bourassa's product was, technically, almost perfect, good enough to beat the checks. His downfall wasn't the quality of the fraud. It was the logistics of profiting from it. Creating value out of nothing is one problem, converting that fake value into real, spendable, untraceable wealth is a completely different and much harder one. The same trap catches counterfeiters, fraudsters, and thieves alike. The Hatton Garden Gang couldn't safely offload their gold, Bourassa couldn't safely offload his bills. The crime can succeed brilliantly right up until the moment you try to cash it in. There's also an uncomfortable second lesson, the same one we keep meeting: the system runs on trust in the physical security of money, and that trust is only as strong as the hardest feature to replicate. For decades, the special paper was the wall that stopped counterfeiters. Bourassa got over the wall. Which is exactly why currencies keep adding new, harder to fake features, because every security measure is a race against the next person patient and skilled enough to defeat it. He printed $250 million that looked real. He just couldn't turn it into $250 million that was. Subscribe. New case every Friday, and that's the end of this chapter of cons, scams, and the people who pulled them off. Tell us in the comments which story shocked you most.